Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Muok, and welcome back to yet another episode of DC3 Health Talk. That's Vista Compassion and Care Center Health Talk. This is where we talk about all matters mental health. I am your host, Brian Muok, once more, and today I have a special guest on the show. Her name is Tina Nzuki.
Yes! Sorry.
I was going to say a ball of energy, but it just come out by itself. Already, and then somebody that I look up to and I respect very much. Thank you very much, Tina, for making time to come to the show. You're going to have
that would be $4. Thank you.
All right, take your M-Pesa.
I'm checking nothing. No, I'm kidding. Let me stop disturbing you, but go ahead. Hi, Muok, and thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
Thank you very much. So we're going to have a brief chat about a few things here and there, and maybe let's just start off because I know you're a DISTA graduate.
Oh yes, alumni. Yes.
Alumni. So for dear viewer back at home, you're a Distarian. This is your fellow Distarian also. So let's talk about your time in DISTA. How was that?
Okay, it was short. The end.
I don't want to talk about.
I'm joking.
Yeah. How was it? How was the experience? What's the difference between the DISTA then and the DISTA now?
Oh, there's a heaven and earth difference. If first of all, if I'm to talk about location, man, we are the first lot that went into Athi River. So we used to wine and dine with giraffes and lions and a few hyenas. Now, for real, we had the real feces, but not the men. So that was us, guys. Yeah. And then now you have just a scenic landscape. Yeah. We went there when there were only two hostels, believe it or not. Even the ones on the outside had not even gotten that. That's location. Then in terms of the number of students, we were not so many. We weren't many. I think we were a kind number, what I call a kind number. And oh my gosh, DISTA life. If there's anything that shaped me for life, it was DISTA. Because that's where I got my first encounter with God concerning friends. That's why I understood about being set apart and being used, for something that God is doing. That's why I understood how people rise up 1 minute and go down the next minute. I loved my lecturers. I hated mathematics. That's not the point. I even got suspended. Would you believe it, for something I didn't do?
Oh.
I'm being honest. It's down in history. Everyone knows about it anyway, but it's fine. I didn't do what they said I did, because on the day I got suspended, I was out of town with international students. I used to run the international students office way back when you were just a
That's ISADU.
Yes, ISADU.
It's known as ISADU right now, but I'm not very sure what it is known.
Well, it's always been ISADU. Yes.
National Student.
I think there's something.
Association of DISTA University. Yeah.
Correct. And it was fun. That one I loved doing, Kabisa. That's what I used to do. And then let's see. I came to DISTA as a pre-university student. Okay. Do you guys still have pre-U? Yes, I think not.
We do.
You do?
Yes.
So we were the first lot, and pre-university was being done in Nairobi campus. And if you pass, you go to Athi River campus. Okay. Would you believe we even had physical education in that place? Yes, we actually used to do physical education in our class. Then I think on Thursdays or Fridays we'd go for swimming at St. George's. We were gisty. And the lecturer was Mr. Masiga. Okay. Yeah, so my time in DISTA was, sorry, someone is calling me. I'll call you back, I promise. I'll hang up. Yeah, okay. So that was my time in DISTA.
And something that you've not mentioned, but I'll just put you on the spot. Right now we have Mr. Kaberia working at DISTA University, and anybody who doesn't know Kaberia Maze, you must be living.
Yeah, you need to buy the book.
Yeah, need to buy the book. Get to the program. Founder of Aflewo worship. And he told me that you used to be in school together, and you in the worship team. So how did you get to being in the worship team? You were saved. Let me assume you were saved before you came to Daystar, and that was the star.
No, I was a traditional herbalist. Of
Okay.
course, I was saved
Yeah.
because that
You
time
grew up
they
in
used
a
to say,
Christian family.
yes,
Okay.
Daystar was known as a university with a difference. Let me tell you, getting into Daystar was hard, especially if you're not born again.
Yeah.
Right now, it's easy peasy, but that time it was strict. It was Christian for real. Like, awako nataka mchezo. But Kaberia, I met him at Daystar, and together with Sarah Oyugi, oh Lord, Tina Nzuki, her name is Nganga, Stella Kiguta Nganga, and Nganga himself. We were the first of the few, we were the first of the founders of Sing Africa.
Oh wow.
And yeah, let me tell you, Sing Africa was everything to do with music and evangelizing through music. It was really cool. And then we started doing trips. The first one, I think, is when we went to Uganda. I think that's where people found they're falling in love with one another. Sorry for another day. But Sing Africa spearheaded the beginning of a musical movement by Timothy Kaberia, and he never stopped. I have never seen a man of so much vision. And he went. They did, I think, Zimbabwe, if I'm not wrong. I wasn't there at that time, but they did so many other countries, and Sing Africa grew. Daystar was also, during my time, it was first musical outside of campus. It was called For Such a Time as This. I wrote the script and directed it together with a lady called Anne Mathenge, now known Nimo Mathenge, who's been in the US, Hollywood for 23 years.
Wow.
Now she's back. Yeah, now she's back in Kenya. Yay! And so we started musical drama. It was called For Such a Time of This. We had the Kevin Machiros, the Regitahis, people from the 97, I know, we're old, 97, 98 class. We had the Mwanias, the Masiukos. It was really, really something to behold. Even me, I'm like, oh, I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah.
It must feel amazing to be part of such a wholesome engine that you didn't know
Absolutely
what it is right now, and it's just a blessing. So shout out to Timothy Kaberia for that.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
So let me talk about now post Daystar. Post Daystar. Let me know how you got into the fourth estate. Where were you planted first, and how did you move from there? Okay, in a very.
This is gonna be funny. Hey, I'm going to have to. Nyonga, you even knows this. I'm kidding. In Daystar, I didn't study for media.
Wow.
I loved photography and I did PR. The media, I stumbled into it. This is, I don't say stumble, that's not the right word. I was assigned for media. Even I didn't know. This was a plan God had. And the only time I knew about it was when I was in the media. So I leave Daystar and I'm thinking I'm gonna go into PR. I'm gonna find a PR company. And let me tell you, I looked. And I looked, I couldn't find anything. So I just left Daystar, and one day I was listening to radio. I used to listen to Family radio station. Okay. On it was an old man, he's not so old right now, of a group called Five Alive. You never heard of it because I think you were still a thought that time. On it was a guy called... yeah, Five Alive. So there's a guy called Bob Kyoko who was a presenter at Family. So as I'm listening, because this time I'm working for a film director, very big film director in Kenya. I only remember her first name. I don't know. I can't remember her second name. So maybe she wasn't that big. I'm kidding. She was. And he cracked a joke. Bob Kyoko cracked a joke. And then he laughed at it. And I'm thinking, that is the driest thing I've ever had in my life. So you know what I did? My mother had just bought a karaoke machine. I went and bought a compact. Unajua compact.
Yeah.
Nikajua Maxwell 90C. Nikaka ndani ya ile machine. My mother had a golden microphone. I took it. I did, let's do this. So I actually recorded my voice and put music at the bottom. We call it a bed.
Yes.
And then I gave my sister, who works around the area code of family, they were in NSSF building, 24th floor. I told her, take this in. I've told them, in the tape, I said, this is how I'm going to sound like when, not if, when you hire me.
Wow.
And within hours of her taking it, she took it at about 2 p.m. I was called at 4 p.m.
Wow.
Hi, my name is Robert Warobi. I'm like, who there? And he says, he was a media manager then for family. He says, I want you to come in. I said, for an interview. When? Tomorrow. I said, boss, tomorrow is Friday. I'm going to Nyeri. There's a bash. So you have to wait until I come back on Monday. He's like, what? I'm like, what? So I actually left. I came back on a Monday. And I went, I did the interview. And without even blinking, I'm told, you know what, would like to try you out. And I got hired.
Wow.
I didn't know at that time it was owned by Leo Slingerland. So one day he comes, I see this huge Muzungu, he looks like Father Christmas that time, walking around the corridors, and I'm like, and then he says, come here, young girl, what's your name? So I tell him he had a really big bass. So I tell him who I am, and then he says, so you work here? I said, yeah, and you? I didn't know it was him. He said, yes, I own the place. Boss, he just saw the sole of my foot, of my shoe, gone.
If
I was
awkwardness was a person.
Yeah, it would be that for sure. So that's how I got into media, and
wow, that's amazing. And
yeah.
I think a lot of people from even my generation know you from Hope FM onward.
Yes.
Yes.
So wow, Hope FM. That's another story, because I left family. I started family in 1998. I know.
Yes.
Then and then I finished that, and we got into Hope FM in 2003. Yes. Wow. April 7th. The day the first time the fader went up, I was like, good morning, my name is Tina Nzuki. Boom. I stayed there for 3 years, got out, went to Hot 96, which was known as YFM then.
Wow.
Sat under Jimmy Gathu, got out of there, went to Easy FM, was working with Waweru, finished, got out of there, went back to family, did a stint, got out of there, and then I sat down and then got back into media after a while.
Wow. So I'm going to ask you maybe a question that's quite obvious, but what would you prefer from TV or radio? TV or radio? Said I feel like I already know the answer to that, but let me just hear it from you.
I think you're going to be surprised. Okay. I have morphed into both.
Okay.
But sometimes it's better when people don't know how you look like. Like, do I have a face for radio?
A face for radio.
So I love radio. I mean, I can do radio in my sleep. I'd be and you're like, Tina, wake up. Yes, this is I would start immediately. TV, on the other hand, I have tried it. I love it. But it's all that makeup, and you have to change your clothes, and then there's the lights, and then do your hair. I don't mind it, but radio for me, easy. But I think sometimes don't go for the easy, go for what's gonna grow you.
Oh, cool. Wow, that's a beautiful lesson for the people watching. And
you're welcome.
Well, let us go into the flesh of things. I'm aware that there's a lot of peer pressure in the media scene, and there's a lot of pressure for people to conform to trends. This is trending right now, so let us take this route as a station or as a person. Even maybe you're hosting a show, I feel like people might be talking about certain things, and maybe they might not be down with your morals and your what grounds you as a person, but then just the pressure to conform to such things. How have you dealt with that over the years?
Now, for the fear of sounding spiri, which I am, by the way, I'm going to tell you this and tell you honestly, I never, ever thought I was going to be in media. It doesn't matter what anyone's going to tell me. I honestly thought I was going to have my own PR company, and I'd be making a lot of money and giving people a lot of trouble. Then media happened. And then I understood way later that you don't walk into media, you're called for media.
Yeah.
because media is one of the mountains of influence anywhere. Media. And if you look around you right now, it's a one mountain that is influencing billions of people around the world.
Yes.
It is a mountain that most people would not want to engage in because, well, I guess they keep saying, oh, media, you have to have gift of the gab, you have to have wit, information. Me, I just say you have to just be you.
Yeah.
Is there pressure to conform? Absolutely. Like, oh my God. If you go into media by yourself and you're not called into it, it is very easy for you to lose your core values or lose yourself in media, especially if you don't have a mentor or someone holding your hand, or for real you are not called. It is so easy. You go in, you lose your head. Most people think, hey, media, glam, guys have the cars, have the money. This could be true, but at a price. And sometimes for some people, that price is paid with their lives. So, how do you stay grounded in media? God, your calling, your values, your convictions. If anything should settle you in media today, and that's where you want to go, you got to make sure, double sure, absolutely sure that you are called to that mountain. Because if you go in without you seeking and or knowing you are called or assigned to media, you're going to lose yourself. You will lose yourself. People think it's the skills. And when we talk about the skills, we're talking enthusiasm, stamina, determination, confidence. Those things count. And don't you ever think it's wrong? Even excellent oral or written skills, you must have them. They are good. But what are you on the inside of you? What convicts you to stay in the, for lack of a better word, in the straight and narrow?
Yeah.
What convicts you? Because if you don't have your convictions to par, you are going to drown. I'm not scaring you. I'm telling you the fact. I have had friends in journalists lose their lives. They died. Some committed suicide. Some, they fell from glory. Whoop, boom. Because in media, you're a star. You know, everyone looks at you and they're expecting you. You must know everything. Let me tell you, you don't need to know everything. Resilience and reporting go hand in hand in media. Ask any journalist. Resilience and reporting. You might be called as a reporter to a field where there are mangled bodies or an accident has happened. You two things, you'll either throw up and faint, or you leave that place screaming and you'll be traumatized for life. So you got to ask yourself, I'm going into media for what? Is it the money? Because sometimes there's a lot of money, sometimes there's no money. Or do you have a passion and a conviction to do what you're doing?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to preach.
No,
Yeah.
it's that's what we're here for. And you went a little bit ahead, and that's where I was going. I was
Oh, I'm
meant to
sorry.
ask you. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Yeah, I got you.
So
Yeah.
I meant to ask you whether you have seen people around you, or even
Yeah.
personally, pia wewe, have you ever had some issues such as maybe depression? I was going to say stress, but let me go deeper into depression or anxiety or even PTSD because of something that you have experienced or seen
Yeah.
in the media space.
Okay.
So you've already touched on the other people. So personal,
Yeah.
let's take it a little bit personal. How has it been for you?
So this is a bit challenging and personal for me. At the time that I was in media, I went through something that completely shook me. I was not ready for it, but this storm showed up in my life immediately after I'd just gotten into media through Hope FM. Hope FM is a church-based media station, and church folk are crazy. Let me tell you, they can say things and they do things. But at this particular moment, I didn't want any of them to know what I was going through because people are going to come up with solutions. And at that moment, I'm not sure I needed solutions. I was going through a difficult time in my life that was either going to take me out for real or was going to force me to take someone out. It got to a point where I had to report myself to the police station because I'd put together a small plan for real to remove somebody from the DNA pool, okay? And that would involve killing them. I know you think I'm crazy, yeah. So when I was going through what I'm going through, every morning my show would start at 6 and end at 10. But here's a funny thing. Before 6, between 6 and 10 a.m., 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., I am one person. After 10 a.m., 10:01, the minute the fader goes down and I step out of the studio, somebody entirely different. And I carried this pain with me for about 4 years. Every day I went on air, nobody knew. So it was by the grace of God that I'd conclude a show and get out and tell myself, we've done it, let's go. Let's go pick the next thing that we've got to pick. I went into depression. I didn't even know. I'd be blacking out at sometimes, or I would talk with you, and tomorrow when you meet me, you tell me, hey, remember that thing I asked you yesterday? And I said, look, man, I have never spoken to you this year. What are you talking? I had bad blackouts. I couldn't remember people, couldn't remember places or things. And at that particular time when I was going through what I was going through, I thought it'll be good not to tell anybody because 2 things. 1, I'm in the media, I'm in the public eye. 2, I was a media icon.
Yes.
And I had a pedestal I had been put on, and I really didn't want to fall off. And so I kept up with the appearances until they almost took me out. And that's when I realized I need to get help. But the first person I spoke to was a policeman. And that's the day I broke down and knew if I don't get out of this situation that I'm in, I'm done. I got out after about 5 years. It was hard. It was tough. I didn't go to therapy. I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of talking to myself. I talk to myself. People think I'm crazy. That's fine. But I did a lot of talking to myself and a lot of self-evaluation. I thank God for the sensitivity to the things I was going through, because then I didn't want to interpret that as, it's only happening to me. It should be put in a particular box. But I was very sensitive of my well-being, not just for myself, but for the people I talk to. So I'm going to be honest right now and say there were times in the beginning of that trauma that I did a lot of lying. And when I say lying, I mean, I'd be like, hey, good morning, I'm fine. Woohoo, things are going great. Listen to this song. Song starts, fader goes down, and this is me. And I would cry. I come back, I'm like, okay, let's do this. I used to sometimes even have to lock the door so I can get what I'm doing, but nobody knew. Nobody ever knew. Yeah.
So
So
that's wow. That's a deep story.
I know, crazy. I'm sorry. Did I throw you off?
No. Actually, I want us to go a little bit further and talk about the healing. How the healing process for you was, because you've mentioned that you didn't go to therapy, and
no,
your faith stepped in at this point. But I
it
like that
did
because
a lot.
that links with what you're saying before about it's only God who can keep you grounded at this point. So let me ask you, what do you feel is the space of therapy, actual therapy with the professionals, and the faith merging together in situations like this? Like for you, did you feel like at some point you should have gone to therapy, or it was just the phase just ended for you?
Yeah, I didn't want to tell anybody. It's embarrassing. It was what I was going through at that time. I was telling myself it's very embarrassing. And if people found out, they'd be like, what? Tina Nzuki? Yeah. And I kept saying, you got to keep it to yourself. You don't keep it to yourself, Aki, you're going to go to that nut house. Then you have to tell everybody. Then for real, you're going to be crazy. I didn't lose my mind. What I did lose was my self-esteem. It hit negative, I don't know where, like from 0 to 100, boom, gone. Some of the elements or some of the principles of journalism are truthfulness, impartiality,
Yes,
objectivity. But that is what the principles of journalism are. But as a journalist, I didn't have them.
Mhm.
I didn't have them. So what grounded me at that time, honestly, was faith. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So I went to God. And I'll tell you this because I'm going to one day share this. One day I stood in the bathroom of where I was at, and I said, if you don't help me, I kid you not, they will find me lying on this bathroom floor dead. I don't know what else to do. And I still get emotional doing this. And immediately I saw, it was like a vision because I saw a hand, a huge hand. And I saw it take a needle and a thread. It was a red thread, I'll never forget. And I saw me being picked by the hand and slipped into, when you wear a blazer or a jacket,
Yeah.
the side pocket.
Yes.
I was slipped into the pocket, and then that needle and thread began to sew. It began to hem me in, and immediately I had God speak to me and say, I will take care of you. And that was it. Should have seen me. I skipped out of that toilet. It was 4 a.m. in the morning. Skipped out of that toilet, went, sat down, said, let's do this. He got me. Bring it on. And my life moved on. I never had my story in the papers. Those times, tabloids, you know how sensationalism sells, eh?
Yeah.
I was not in the papers. I was not in any tabloids. No story came out. God literally, he shut it down. He shut it down.
Wow.
Because had it gone out, man, I think it was the embarrassment or what the enemy was going to do with that story later that I think God was sparing me from.
Wow.
I'm scratching my head. It's like I've got shower. Sorry. Yeah, there's no shower.
That's just the amazing bit about how God takes care of his people, and I'm really glad he came through for you.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Maybe just to wrap this up, what advice would you give up-and-coming media practitioners about self-care in this space of the fourth estate? Because it really comes down to self-care and God.
Yeah. Run. No, I'm kidding. No, I know where to. Let me tell what I have been taught by God is, if you're not called, there'll be no grace to sustain you.
Wow.
So you'll be working in your own strength. You will tire out faster. You will get depressed faster, and you will begin to move in things in your own strength that will wear you down faster than when or if you're called by God. So this is what I'm going to tell you. Journalism is mwah. If you love telling stories, if you love speaking to people, if you love researching, research, research is like motomoko. Is that kaka fruit? Journalism has it's got such a sweet something to it. It's like honey, because you're busy as a bee, busy as Tina Nzuki, but you're getting all this stuff. Don't stop wanting it, but you gotta make sure that you remember it's not all glamour and glitz. Work hard. I mean, like really work hard and work smart.
Yes.
And when you have gotten to where you're supposed to get, remember the Lord your God. Don't forget him. Don't forget God. Don't forget where you've come from. And don't be caught up in the stars and the pictures and the who's who, because these people come and fade. But you will be the one to tell a story. Tell the story, because also your story will be told. But above all, if Christ is the center of all that you do, and you know in your now, stay put and work your assignment. Remember, journalism, like any other kind of job, is an assignment for a particular time. Beyond that, you're just gonna be farting in the wind. True story.
It is an assignment because we are called to deliver truth, and we are the watchdogs of this.
Yeah. So, and also, not just to deliver the truth. You're speaking to people.
Yes.
Let me not lie to you. People belong to God.
Yes.
You will be judged more heavily for teaching than anything else.
True.
You do not want to get on God's bad side. You do not want that. No, sir.
I like what you said in one of your previous shows about as journalists, our tongues is what will ultimately be judged. What are we saying with the platforms that we have?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Plus, you can't give what you don't have.
True.
You're a journalist, yes. So you're here reporting, you're finished reporting, and then don't forget you're still human.
Yes.
You'll be tied down by the ethics and the law of where you're coming from, but you're still human.
Yeah.
You're still human.
Amazing perspective. Lastly, I wish you had more time, but let's just keep it short and sweet. Let that marinate on people's minds.
Yes.
Where can people find you? Apart from Carl Radio 96.
Hey, I got a podcast. It's called the Tina Nzuki Podcast. You can find it on Anchor FM. You can also find the Tina Nzuki Podcast on Edify. Edify Network is EDIFI. It's an app from the US. You download it. Yes, good people under the US. Sorry, I'm kidding. So I'm very humble. So you'll find me there. And I guess everywhere else you find Braille, you'll find Muok, you'll find me. I'm lying, but okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not very I'm not very active, but when I get active, utayua.
Yeah.
So follow me, and thank you for listening to me. I'm really grateful. I hope I didn't shoot down anyone's dreams. If you have and listen, if you need someone to mentor you or to talk to you about journalism, don't call me, call Muok.
Yeah, you can call me and I'll forward you right to Tina.
Yes, sir.
So thanks a lot, Tina, and
thank you.
Thank you very much for watching DC3 Health Talk. Stay tuned for yet another informative session the next time we come back, and have a blessed time.
Deuces.
Peace.